Head coach Kevin Stefanski, supposedly the guy calling the shots, had reportedly been ordered by the Browns front office to start rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders over veteran Dillon Gabriel. Ordered, not advised, not strongly encouraged. Ordered. And just like that, the Browns didn't just have a quarterback battle. They had a full-blown organizational crisis. A saga that's no longer just about X's and O's. It's about egos, control, loyalty, and a city that's watched the same quarterback horror movie for decades. But this time, the stakes feel even higher. Because this isn't just about who starts under center. It's about who the Browns are going to be from this moment forward. Will they be bold, dynamic, and finally in sync with the modern NFL? Or will they stay trapped in their own never-ending cycle of dysfunction, second-guessing, and face-planting in front of a national audience? Let's unpack the drama. From the star camp, Dillon Gabriel had quietly taken on the role of steady hand. He's the kind of guy coaches love, low maintenance, system-friendly, not going to rock the boat. He was never flashy, but he executed. He followed the script. He gave you the safe floor. But that's the problem. Browns fans are done with safe. After decades of quarterback mediocrity, some of it laughable, some of it painful, this fan base is screaming for a little bit of swagger, a little bit of fire, something unpredictable, something magnetic. Enter Shedeur Sanders. From the minute he walked into the facility, Shedeur brought a completely different energy. He didn't come in to blend in. He came in to take over. And when you've been raised in the spotlight like he has, pressure doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like home field. Cleveland noticed, and they liked what they saw. But Stefanski, he wasn't ready. According to multiple insiders, the original plan was to roll with Gabriel, ease Shedeur in, and protect him from the insanity of the Browns' ecosystem, at least for a few weeks. Let him get his feet wet. Let him learn the speed of the NFL before throwing him to the wolves. And then came the front office. According to the leak, Stefanski was essentially told, if you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. You're not making this call. Ownership and upper management had seen enough. Between Shedeur's buzz, the fans' restlessness, and the looming opening game at home, they saw a golden opportunity to light a fire. They wanted Sanders on the field. Now, and so Stefanski folded. Or, more accurately, got folded. That brings us to where we are now. A head coach who looks like he's lost control, a locker room that's reading between every line, and a rookie quarterback who's being asked to carry not just a team, but narrative. And if you're wondering how he got here, just look at the Browns' track record. Quarterbacks in Cleveland aren't developed. They're devoured. It's a revolving door of expectations, scapegoating, and career damage. You know the jersey, the one with 30-something names taped over the back. The cursed artifact that sums up 2 decades of organizational chaos. Now Shedeur Sanders becomes the next name sewn onto the fabric of a franchise that eats its stars alive. But the craziest part? He might be okay with that. Because unlike most rookies, Shedeur is built for the storm. He's been in the spotlight for years. He's handled media pressure since high school. He's got the DNA of primetime himself. He knows how to weaponize attention. But let's be clear, this ain't Boulder. This ain't college. This is the NFL, and this is Cleveland. And those cameras aren't just waiting to celebrate his rise. They're waiting to document his fall. He's stepping into a locker room full of veterans who know exactly how this story usually ends. And now that Stefanski's been overruled, everyone knows that Sanders is the organization's guy, not the coach's. That changes the dynamic instantly. He's not the underdog. He's not the backup earning a shot. He's the anointed one. And that's dangerous. Because NFL locker rooms are political. They're emotional. They're full of men who've spent their entire lives earning everything. So when someone skips a step, even someone as gifted as Sanders, there are always whispers. Add in the fact that Gabriel reportedly did everything right and still got leapfrogged, the tension's already baked in. And the front office? They're playing with fire. If this works, sure, they look like geniuses. Shedeur becomes the face of the franchise. Stefanski gets to keep his job, maybe. And Cleveland gets the electric, Next-gen QB has been thirsting for since the 90s. But if it doesn't, if Sanders struggles early, if the team loses games they should win, if the offense sputters under the weight of unrealistic expectations, then all hell breaks loose. And guess who catches a fallout first? Not the front office, not the owners. Stefanski, the same guy they stripped authority for, will be blamed for not making it work. The headlines write themselves. Coach can't handle the heat. Offensive guru can't coach his chosen QB. Browns wasted another rookie talent. And let's not pretend the fans are going to be patient. Cleveland fans are loyal, but they're also emotionally exhausted. They've seen this cycle too many times to get fooled again. So if Shedeur doesn't look sharp immediately, if he doesn't deliver at least hope, that loyalty starts turning into fury, into doubt, into the kind of negativity that swirls into something unmanageable. And here's the worst part. The Browns made this a story. No easing into the season. No quiet development arc. No, we'll see how the rookie progresses. They turned Shedeur Sanders into a culture war. And now he has to deliver not just as a player, but as a savior. He doesn't just have to win games. He has to change minds, change energy, change the narrative. And all of this is happening before he's even thrown a regular season pass. It's insane. It's thrilling. It's completely on brand for Cleveland. Because this isn't just a quarterback decision. It's a public spectacle. It's sports meets theater. Football meets politics. Development meets desperation. And Shedeur Sanders, for better or worse, is now the lead actor in a show that's already sold out every seat in town. What happens next? The Browns have a home opener that suddenly feels like a referendum. On Stefanski, on the front office, on Shedeur, on everything. The crowd will be electric, but impatient. Every throw will be analyzed. Every mistake amplified. If Shedeur shines, it's going to feel like revival. If he stumbles, the boos will come fast. Because right now, this city doesn't just want to win. They want a reason to believe again. And that's what makes this moment so volatile, so loaded. This isn't just about beating the opposing team. It's about beating the past, about exorcising the demons of every blown draft, every lost season, every broken promise. And that's why this leak hit like an earthquake. It wasn't just news. It was confirmation. Confirmation that the Browns are once again walking a tightrope over the abyss. High risk, high drama, high chance of total implosion. And maybe, just maybe, a shot at something real. Because let's not forget, the most dangerous thing in sports is hope. And right now, Cleveland hope wears number 2, walks with confidence, and just had the keys to the kingdom handed to him. Now he has to prove he belongs. So what do you think? Did the Browns make the right call? Is Shedeur ready for all this pressure? Or is this just another chapter in the ongoing tragedy that is Cleveland quarterback drama? All right, let's keep going. Because if the Browns have taught us anything over the past 20 years, it's that the rabbit hole always goes deeper. And with the Shedeur Sanders saga, we haven't even scraped the bottom yet. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does this particular controversy feel so different? Why does it feel like the whole city is on edge, like this isn't just a quarterback decision? It's a referendum on the soul of the franchise. It's because this isn't happening in a vacuum. This is happening at a crossroads for the Browns. A team that has tried to reinvent itself every 2 years like it's rebooting a superhero franchise. New logo, new mantra, new culture. Same results. For once, the foundation actually looked like it might hold. A competent defense, a loaded backfield, a decent line, and a coach who, while flawed, at least brought some continuity. And now, one front office power move has cracked the entire operation open. Let's talk about why they pulled the trigger. Because yes, Shedeur is talented, exciting, and confident. But that's not the only reason this decision was made. The Browns are trying to sell a new identity. They don't just want to win. They want to be relevant. They want attention, buzz, national games, jersey sales, TikTok edits. The NFL is a machine, and the Browns don't want to be the boring team with a good run game anymore. They want Shedeur to be the brand. And let's be honest, he is marketable. He has the flash, the followers, the famous father, the name recognition. He's a walking headline. And in the NFL's influencer economy, that's worth more than a clean pocket and 250 yards a game. So yeah, this move isn't just football. It's PR. It's marketing. It's a calculated bet that Shedeur can turn Cleveland into a destination instead of a punchline. But here's the thing about marketing. If you don't deliver on the product, people revolt. Because the fans, they've seen this play out before. Flashy new era. Big media push. And by week 5, the same old Browns show up with blown coverages, sideline tension, and post-game pressers that sound like hostage videos. That's why this moment feels like such a gamble. The front office is banking on Shedeur to be the guy who can finally handle both the game and the spectacle. But they've also now built a situation where there is zero room for a learning curve. Because how do you give a rookie time to develop when you've already told the entire world he's the chosen one? You don't. He's either a lead out of the gate or he's another mistake. There's no middle ground. And what happens if he is just okay? Not terrible. Not amazing. Just fine. Does that buy time? Or does that trigger the fan base into panic mode? Let's be real. This fan base is one false start away from marching on Berea with pitchforks. Not because they hate Shedeur, but because they've been burned so many times, they can't help but flinch. And we haven't even talked about team dynamics. Because while Shedeur has to deal with the pressure of being the rookie star, the rest of the team has to deal with being cast as a supporting cast. That's not nothing. You think every guy in that huddle is thrilled about it? You think the offensive line loves the fact that the rookie got handed the gig because of organizational vision? You think the wide receivers aren't thinking, if I drop one pass, am I getting thrown under the bus to protect the brand? This stuff seeps into relationships. It eats at team chemistry. And when that cracks, you can feel on the field. Missed assignments, lack of communication, no one stepping up when adversity hits. Those aren't stat sheet issues. They're vibe issues. And the Browns are already skating on thin ice when it comes to vibes. Let's also not ignore the clock ticking behind all of this. Stefanski's job is on the line. He doesn't get to say rookie growing pains. He doesn't get to say we're building something. Not after getting overruled. Not after this big of a spectacle. If Shedeur stumbles early, Stefanski's gone. Period. And here's the part that stings the most. He's now responsible for a decision that wasn't his to begin with. Think about that. He gets none of the control, all the blame. If Shedeur succeeds, ownership will parade around saying, see, we made the right call. If he fails, Stefanski will be the one at the podium answering why. It's a no-win situation. And it's one the Browns front office created, thinking they were being bold. But bold isn't always smart. And sometimes, bold just means you lit the fuse without checking the direction of the wind. Let's also address the longevity question. What's the plan after Shedeur starts? Is he your guy for the next 5 years, no matter what? Or is this just another rushed star cycle that flames out the second the playoffs slip away? Because if you start rotating QBs again mid-season, if you go back to Gabriel in week 7 because Shedeur needs more time, you basically set fire to your credibility. You can't keep turning your roster into a game of musical chairs. Teams that win in the NFL stick to their identity, even when it's uncomfortable. The Browns? They're already rewriting theirs before the first quarter of the first game. And that's why, deep down, this whole situation feels so fragile. Like we're watching a glass tower being built on sand. It's shiny. It's impressive. But one gust of bad press or a two-pick game and the whole thing collapses. So what's the best-case scenario? Shedeur comes out and delivers. Not just with flashy throws, but with leadership, with maturity, with the ability to elevate the guys around him and own the moment. If that happens, Cleveland becomes electric. The stadium rocks. The team rallies. And suddenly, we're not talking about dysfunction. We're talking about a franchise reborn. But that path is razor thin. And the margin for error? Non-existent. Because if Shedeur needs time, and let's remember he's a rookie, this whole thing gets eaten alive by pressure, panic, and finger-pointing. And in that moment, all those grand statements from the front office won't matter. All that vision talk? Gone. It'll be Shedeur facing the media, Stefanski sweating at the podium, and the fans wondering, again, how it all went sideways so fast. So here we are, Cleveland, once again, standing on the edge of greatness or another meltdown. One rookie, one city, one decision that could echo for years. And the season hasn't even started. So what happens next? Will Shedeur rise and flip the script on the Browns' curse history? Or will this be yet another promising chapter that ends in ashes? Tell me what you think. Is this courage or chaos? Genius or desperation? Let's get into it in the comments. And hit that subscribe button, because one thing for sure, Cleveland never keeps it boring. Let's keep peeling back this absolutely bonkers onion of a quarterback saga, because trust me, we're not done yet. Not even close. The Shedeur Sanders situation in Cleveland isn't just controversial. It's historic. It's the kind of drama that shifts the entire tectonic plate of a franchise. And if you think this is just about a rookie getting the start, you're missing the full storm. Let's talk about something that almost no one is addressing, but it's lurking behind everything. The Deion factor. Because yes, Shedeur is his own player. He's earned his stripes. But let's not pretend that being son of Coach Prime doesn't change the dynamics entirely. That last name brings both a spotlight and a shadow. And right now, it's casting a massive glow over Berea. Every move Shedeur makes is going to be compared to his father's legacy. Every moment, good or bad, is going to be met with takes like, would Deion have handled it this way? Or this is what happens when you bring a Sanders into your building. That's not fair, but it's inevitable. And you better believe the Browns front office factored that in. This isn't just about talent. This is about what Shedeur represents. His last name brings clout. It brings media. It brings eyes. And in a league that now values engagement just as much as execution, that matters. But it also brings baggage. Because now every misstep has the added pressure of the family legacy. If Shedeur struggles, it won't just be rookie growing pains. It'll be headlines. It'll be narratives. Did the Browns overreach because of the name? Was this more about marketing than merit? That's a weight most players don't carry. But Shedeur, it's baked into the job description. And let's not forget, Deion Sanders isn't known for keeping his opinions to himself. If things go south in Cleveland, are we going to see primetime subtly or not so subtly, firing shots, defending his son, critiquing coaching decisions from afar? That's not just potential drama. That's national news. If Shedeur starts getting benched, misused, or takes too much heat from the media, and Coach Prime comes to his defense on social media or in an interview, suddenly you've got a coach in Boulder publicly commenting on decisions being made in Berea. That's a full-blown cross-country media circus. ESPN would have an entire week of content. This is the reality the Browns signed up for. They didn't just draft a quarterback. They imported a storyline. One with legacy, celebrity, and high expectations stitched into every thread. That's either going to create a lightning bolt that electrifies the franchise, or it's going to explode in their face. And while we're on the topic of explosions, let's talk about the upcoming schedule. Because have you seen the Browns' first 4 games? It's not exactly a rookie-friendly runway. 2 division matchups, a primetime slot, and a defense that feasts on inexperienced QBs waiting in the wings. This isn't a take-it-slow kind of stretch. This is trial by fire. This is sink or swim. And the Browns just cannonball their rookie into the deep end with an anchor tied to his waist. What happens if they start 1-3? What happens if Shedeur throws a couple of picks? The offense sputters, and the media starts asking the big questions. You think that stadium will stay patient? Absolutely not. That place will turn quickly. The same crowd that begged for something new will start screaming for answers. For Gabriel. For Stefanski's resignation. It doesn't take much to flip the energy in Cleveland from hopeful to hostile. This is a fan base that's been disappointed so many times. Their hope has trust issues. And here's another angle that hasn't been talked about enough. The messaging to the rest of the league. When word got out that Stefanski was overruled by the front office, it wasn't just a local scandal. Other coaches and executives around the NFL noticed, and they're paying attention. This is the kind of thing that makes top assistants pause when considering future jobs in Cleveland. It makes agents advise clients to tread carefully. Because if you're a coordinator or position coach, and you know your head coach doesn't even control the quarterback room, Why would you risk your name getting tangled up in that? Cleveland has struggled for years to attract top-tier football minds. Moves like this only make it harder. The perception now is that the Browns are a top-down franchise where football decisions get overruled by marketing considerations. And look, we get it. It's a business. But when football people start feeling like pawns in a PR machine, that's when the real talent starts walking out the door. Now, let's flip to the best-case scenario. Because yes, believe it or not, there's one. Let's say Shedeur comes out and delivers. He settles in. He commands a huddle. He avoids turnovers, shows off that arm, and even wins a couple games early. Suddenly, the narrative flips overnight. Now it's not about a power struggle, it's about vision. Now the front office looks like forward-thinking geniuses. Stefanski gets to act like he was always on board. The team rallies around the young star. And suddenly, the Shedeur experiment becomes a Shedeur era. It could happen. But here's the twist. Even that version has risks. Because if the Browns start winning because of Shedeur, what happens when the cracks in the rest of the team start showing? What happens when the run game falters? When the defense blows a lead? When coaching decisions cost a close game? Shedeur becomes the only thing standing between hope and collapse. And that's a terrifying burden to place on a 21-year-old rookie. He becomes the entire identity of the team. An identity built on one player, especially a young one, is like building your house on a trampoline. It might look fun now, but eventually it collapses. And if he gets injured, if he regresses, if defenses start figuring him out by week 8, then what? There's no backup plan. You've already burned the Gabriel Bridge. You've already sold the city on the idea that this is the guy. The Browns have now positioned themselves in a way where everything rides on Shedeur succeeding immediately. No grace period. No plan B. No fallback. Just a rookie, a dream, and a front office that lit the match and tossed it into the powder keg. And here we are, watching all unfold in real time. So let's wrap this up with the real question on everyone's mind. Is Shedeur Sanders the answer? Or just another chapter in Cleveland's ever-expanding novel of quarterback heartbreak? He has the tools. He has the confidence. He has the moment. But does he have the support? The structure? The stability? Because talent isn't enough in Cleveland. Not when the culture is shaky. Not when the noise is this loud. Not when the leash is this short. We're about to find out in the most public, emotionally charged, high-stakes way possible. So I'll ask you this one last time, because now you've seen the whole picture. Is this the start of a new era in Cleveland? Or the beginning of yet another beautiful, painful, totally avoidable disaster? You know what to do. Light up the comments, throw in your take, and subscribe while you're at it, because if there's one thing the Browns never fail to deliver, it's chaos.